I prayed to God for a sign. I waited for an answer, but nothing changed. And then I realized something. Maybe God had answered me, just not in the way I expected. I kept asking God for a sign, not a big miracle, not a perfect life, just one small sign, something that would tell me, you are not alone. I am still listening. But day after day, nothing happened. The problem didn't disappear. The door didn't open. The answer didn't come. And honestly, I started to wonder if my prayers were reaching anywhere at all. Maybe you know that feeling. You pray, you wait, you look for a sign, and when nothing changes, you begin to think God is silent. But what if you have been looking in the wrong direction? What if God did answer, just not in the way you expected? I was waiting for God to change my situation, but instead, He slowly began changing me. The situation was still difficult, but I became stronger. The future was still uncertain, but I stopped being afraid of every tomorrow. The answers were still missing, but somehow I found peace. And that made me realize something important. Sometimes the sign is not that your problems disappear. Sometimes the sign is that you are still standing after everything that tried to break you. Maybe you didn't get the answer you wanted, but look at how far you have come. Look at the days you thought you would never survive. Look at the nights when you cried yourself to sleep and somehow woke up the next morning with enough strength to continue. Maybe that strength was not an accident. Maybe God was carrying you in ways you never noticed. We often ask God, change my life. But sometimes God says, first, let me change what is inside you, because some blessings require a stronger version of you. Some doors require patience before they open, and some answers only make sense after the waiting is over. So if you are still waiting for a sign today, don't give up. Maybe God hasn't ignored you. Maybe He has been working quietly, not only around you, but within you. And one day you may look back and realize, the sign I was waiting for was there all along. It was the strength I didn't know I had. It was the peace that arrived without an explanation. It was the courage to keep going. So keep praying, keep moving forward, and even when you don't understand what God is doing, don't assume He is doing nothing. Sometimes God's greatest answer is not changing your circumstances immediately. Sometimes He gives you the strength to survive them until the right moment comes. And maybe today, that is your sign. You are still here. You are still breathing. And your story is not over. Amen. If you are still trusting God, even without all the answers, comment, I will keep going.